It's been a while. So today I stayed home. Last night, actually yesterday, around lunchtime at school, when I was eating my lunch, I felt like, I don't know, throat was feeling not right. Not hurting, but not really feeling like, I don't know. And started coughing. So I don't really know if it's just a cold or definitely feels heavy in the chest, but probably just a cold or a flu or I don't know what it is, but stayed home today. It's Friday, last day of the week. I had planned a lot of Valentine's activities with the kiddos at school, but that's not gonna happen today. Um, my kids are all at school. The little ones went to nursery school, and then the other three are at school till what 4:30, and I'm just resting here. However, I cannot really sleep. It's just the schedule has been so um consistent. Um, to wake up at 6 and to go to bed after 9 or 10. That is just my body doesn't really know how to rest during the day. Yesterday I had back-to-back 6 classes, and at the end of the sixth class, I just went to the room where we sit with my coworker, who is Japanese lady but teaching English together with me. We just sat down, and I put the chair next to me, and I lifted my legs there because knees are hurting, and just my feet were pounding because it's 45-minute period on your feet all the time. In between I try to sit, but and you don't really realize how much you are on your feet because the lesson goes on, and like there are volunteers, and you interact with the kids, so time goes fast, but your body does tell you. And so yeah, now recently I've been listening to this lady, Brene Brown, from Texas, and she has like a little interview with somebody, and she talked about this really, really, really simple but very true principle of belonging and fitting in, and the difference between them. And so she pointed out that fitting in um, includes you changing yourself and putting a mask on and trying to literally fit into, say, the work culture or the place you're in, whatever circumstance you have, you try to fit in, but that fitting in changes you and your principles. Sometimes you have to adjust your moral standards or whatnot, and so pretty much lying to yourself, and you're not being yourself, while belonging is a place where you're true to yourself, you are you, and nobody asking you to change. And so true belonging means you're accepted just the way you are, and you're loved just the way you are. It hit home, the statement, because to tell the truth, me coming to Japan and living here it never felt like belonging. Even in the beginning, if I felt the love of husband and his family, um, and I have to tell it's exhausting. It's exhausting to try so hard to fit in a place where you don't feel you belong. You can try to fit in all your life. It took me over 10 years. And it's so exhausting that because of that mental and mental exhaustion, my body starts giving up as well. And it's an unhealthy environment. It's very stressful, and as a culture and as a workplace, the workplace added even more to it. And because I'm highly sensitive person, like words, actions mean a lot to me, and I take it into the deeper level. um it's just really hard. And so if I don't change that circumstance, that environment, it, um it's not good. It doesn't end up good. And so, there was one little thing that also made me think of, motherhood in general. Like, all why am I doing all those videos is just not to point out how right I am, or how wrong he is, or how difficult it is to live in Japan. It is, to me, those are facts that I'm pointing out that I want to remember in the future, because um it has an impact on the person's emotions and physical being. It does. One little thing that my sister was pointing out. So my little baby girl, so today's Friday, so Thursday, she didn't go to school, to her nursery school, because the previous night she had a little bit of fever. Her temperature was a bit higher. And that night, so Thursday night, no, Wednesday night towards Thursday, because I went to work yesterday. But so that night before that, she slept very little. Her nose was not working well, and she just felt uneasy, and she said she just kept saying how she's so hot, she's so hot. She was kicking on her blankets, but the room we're in here is really cold. And so the only warm place is really literally under the blanket. So I was just telling my sister in the morning how, little girl didn't go to school today, and she stayed home with her father, and I just dropped off little boy, her twin brother, to school, and then I have to pick him up after work. And she was like, wait a minute, so that means you didn't have much sleep either. And I didn't even think about that was not even registered in my brain. It was just, my concern is about my little girl. But my sister said, you didn't sleep much either, and you have 6 classes, right? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, I hope you can pull through today. And maybe because of that I had fever in the evening, I don't know. But towards, I don't know, it's just the exhaustion of when you have little kids. I don't know how other moms are, but I'm a really light sleeper. I cannot sleep through the night fully, deeply anymore since I have kids. I just can't. They are my universe. They are my concern. There is always the red lights. If there's the slightest movement around me, because I know I'm between them. So one is here, one is there. If I know they're moving, I know, and I wake up and I put the blankets over them again, because they kick them. They're always hot. All my kids have been like that. Even in the winters, I don't know why they always kick off their blankets. And I'm the opposite. I'm like layers over layers over layers over layers. And so it just made me think, when you're a mom, you don't really, you literally lose yourself, um for you're just existing to be there for those that you love and you care about. And so if you add to that the in a complete isolation, and not being able to have friends, to go out even for one lunch, or whatever it is that you like to do, then that's just imprisonment. And that's how I see it. And there is this saying, a single wife. And I have been living through that for much too long, and I think all Japanese ladies are like that, and they're okay with that too, because they have each other. They get together, and their kids play together. I know, because I see it in the neighborhood, and I see it. But because I don't, no, even if I knew fluently the language, I can see it would be helpful, but then once they look at you, even through the mask, you're always going to be the foreigner. You don't look like them, so you're not one of them, so they're not going to open up. um and one interesting fact I have found out the most is like throughout all those years of, very interesting by the way, throughout all those years of teaching in elementary schools, here and there I have met kids that are half Japanese and half, say the mom is from the Southeast Asia, like somewhere of those countries. Southeast Asia is always hot there, right? So they have lots of farmers coming here to help the farming in this area that we live in. And every once in a while, a Japanese lady will marry one of them, or a Japanese guy will marry one of them, and they will have a kid, and then that kid goes to school too. Interestingly enough, I have managed somehow, I don't know, it's just naturally happens every time. I do bond with Japanese kids, fully Japanese kids, but like those half kids, they they are more opened. They're more friendly. They come to me and they talk to me. And then we talk, and then this one girl, like bunch of years ago, her dad was French and pretty tall guy. So when she was a third, fourth grader, she was tall. I mean, she was like almost my height. And because I've met her father, I didn't talk to him, but I met him. He's really tall guy, and so and she was really open, and she didn't know much French, just a little, like maybe as much as my kids know Bulgarian, not really, but she was really open up. She was always excited to see the English teacher, and we always talked and chatted in Japanese and whatever I could pull up with my limited Japanese, but it was just really interesting. And right now in my current school, there is this girl. Now her name is even like different from Japanese name, and she's fully Chinese, mom and dad Chinese, and she just loves to talk to the English teachers, not just to me, but to the GT, the Japanese teacher of English as well. Like she loves to talk to us and interact to us, and she talks to us in English, in Japanese, but it just comes more natural to her to, I don't know, it's a tendency. I see that a lot. And with boys, they're more timid. I know there in one of my schools now, there is a boy that is half Thai, because the mom is from Thailand, and he knows all about Thailand. He's been there. He said it's really hot, and he loves green curry and all the food that they have there. But he's more timid. He wouldn't. I can see how he wants to talk to me, but like because he's that age now, the timid age, the shy, the preteens, and I can feel like there is more connection with the half kids because their mind is broader. And I'm pretty sure for Bulgarian kids would be the same thing. Maybe if they are half, they've seen more of the world, and they would probably be not as narrow-minded as those who are fully born and raised and immersed into the one culture they know. But isn't that interesting? And my kids, I don't know about them. Because they're in a fairly small school where they don't even have 20 kids in a class. The small community, small school, they don't really treat them differently. And I don't know, at least they don't have an issue of being bullied because they're half Bulgarian or something. But but my kids, I'm pretty sure the previous English teachers that they've had were my friends, and we would talk about them, and their English teachers would tell me like I'm always excited to go to their school because I know they're there and they can help me and I can talk to them in English. Because being an English teacher in Japan is really lonely experience. It's really lonely experience. I mean, even if the teachers are nice enough to get out of their comfort zone and try to make a small talk with you about the weather or whatever, it's still like they're so busy, they're overworked, they're so busy, and you cannot really sit down and talk to them freely, like connect. The small talk is not a connection. The small talk is just out of politeness. And so being an English teacher is very, very, very um lonely job. And honestly, like I hate to just sit around in the desk, at the desk in the staff room. I'd rather be in the classroom and teach, because when I'm in the classroom, I can connect with the kids, and some kids are just really up to English, others don't care at all, and they just pull their uniform jacket over their heads and they just sleep on the desk, and that's fine. I know I hated English when I was in elementary school. It was not my thing. And even in high school, I didn't like English so much, but I had a really good, persistent teacher who was pushing us hard. And I think because of her, I had that determination to do it, just do it. And unfortunately, she passed away. She had cancer. And the last years of my high school, she was even with a wig already. But she was amazing, and I am grateful to her for her and her example. So, but I didn't really learn English until I actually went to the States. I thought I knew English when I went there, and when I asked the people, "Excuse me, what's the water fountain?" and they were like, "Oh, the water fountain's right there." And I was like, "Okay." So my tongue was really tired the first few months of being a missionary in Salt Lake City. It was really, really difficult. I thought I knew English, but so that's where I learned it. English at school is just, anyways. So back to the point of a single wife.